Okay, currently recording the measuring blocks on the level control suspension, so I'll cycle through them just so you get an idea where we're starting from. That appears to be it. I'll just double check the label file to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, block 15 is the last block that's got to have anything of any value in it. So we'll come out of that, we'll go into basic settings. This is going to look different to yours because I've made a new label file, but it'll do the same operations. So first of all, we're going to vent the accumulator down. Oh, once I've done the login first. Oh, 8367. Back in basic settings. I'm going to vent the accumulator first so it's empty. We should see the pressure here in the fourth block once I start to vent it by clicking the on-off next button. So you can see it's currently sitting at 14.65 bar. We'll just drop it off. That's it timed out there. I think it's approximately a minute before it does that. And you can see it's half the pressure, so we'll do it again. Just out of interest, you can't see it, but the amber suspension warning light is flashing on the dashboard at the moment. Whilst that's running, I'm just going to pop outside and check the actual level of the car and see if it's dropped any. It hasn't, so that light is maybe indicative that the pressure's too low. I don't know. Anyway, I'll carry on venting it down. once more. Okay, that's it down to 1.95 bar. There might be an offset against the actual pressure from that sensor. I don't know how low it can actually go on. To be honest, I don't think we need to go any lower. So I'll go at the front axle venting now. We should see what pressure the front struts are at the present minute. And you can see there got 8.14 bar. You can't see it, but the front axle is bleeding off because I can see the level of the car dropping down. Okay, that's timed out there at 2.8. I'll do it once more. Although the pressure's decreasing on the block reading there, I don't see any movement on the front axle anymore. Okay, it seems to have leveled out at 1.95 bar. I don't know if that's related to what's still in the accumulator or if, like I said, that's an offset on the sensor. I think it's neither here nor there because the front end's not dropped any further. I'll confirm that once we go out of this menu and take a look at the measuring blocks so we can see what height the level sensors are saying that the car's sitting at. I don't think I need to bleed off the back axle because your issues in the front struts anyway, so we'll come out of this and look at the measuring blocks for the front axle height. So you can see there we've got minus 60 and minus 65 on the front axle. That's a deviation from the standard level, which on this car it's got sport suspension, so it only has a normal running height and a lift mode height. You can see there that 1.95 is the reading from the pressure sensor, so without looking at the schematic I'm not sure where it takes that reading from. It might be connected to the accumulator. or just directly after the pump, but I can find out later. Anyway, let's go back. Deviation of 60 and 65. I'm going to charge the front axle now up to the 4.88 bar that you had, and we'll see if that actually lifts the car off of this deviation from the standard level. So back into basic settings, and we're going to go charge front axle and start that running. I can hear my compressor running. That's at 3 bar. I haven't seen any movement yet on the front axle. Okay, I'll stop that there at 4.8 bar. Come out of this and go back to the measuring blocks. Slight change in the axle height there. 5 mil on that side and approximately 4 mil on that side. So it looks like we need a considerable amount more than 4 bar to get the front of the car off the floor. We'll charge it again. We'll stop it at 6 bar. We'll see where the height's at then. Yeah, starting to come up now. I think you can see how quickly the pressure reading's climbing, so you kind of need to have the same on a good working system on your car. If it's taking forever to increase in pressure, you can be pretty safe in the assumption that it's leaking somewhere. Above 8 bar, I can see the front axle climbing quite quickly now. Stopped it there at 9 bar because the front axle's got a maximum 9.5 bar according to Volkswagen Group service information. So we'll just jump back to the measuring blocks and see what height we're at. Sorry, back one. So you can see there now that's approximately 20-30 mil above the standard level. So that's a considerable difference from what it was down at the fully vented position. Just going to go back into basic settings and run the accumulator charge test. This is the one that I always think is a good test for actually proving the health of the compressor, because it's only going to charge the accumulator and not front or rear axles. So I'll start that off running. And we see that it was down at 1.9 before it started. can see it's timed out there. Charging the accumulator will probably take longer than charging the axles, purely because of the volume of air you have to pump into the accumulator. So we'll run it again. I think the last time I did this, it took 3-4 attempts to get up to close to 16 bar, at what point I cut it off. There's no point in running the compressor till it's red hot. The amber suspension level 1 and like still flashing on the dashboard. I don't know if it's doing that actually because we're in the basic settings of the level control. Once we've done this accumulator charging test, I'm going to try and select a different level in the car controls and not through VCDS to see if it clears that. On the MMI at the moment, lift is greyed out. I don't know if that's because I'm in basic settings or what, but maybe I have to close the controller out in VCDS, but we'll find out in a minute. Okay, let's just jump back to the measuring blocks and see what the temperature of the compressor is, because I don't want to overheat it. Yeah, it's quite hot. I think we'll stop that there. Right, I'm going to exit out of VCDS because at the moment I can't get control back on the MMI. So I'm going to close the controller, see if that does anything. And it doesn't. So I'm going to stop the engine and switch off the ignition and see if that clears the problem. Okay, with the ignition on, I can see the front axle dropping back down, and I now have control in the MMI for the different levels of suspension, and the warning lights are off. So it needs the ignition cycle to reset the level controller back to normal operating mode. Okay, that concludes the video.